Okay, guys. Hey, I'm really happy to have you all here today. This is something that has really hit me personally and emotionally, and I I just am, you know, feel blessed to be in a position to try to help wherever I can and share my story. We today we really want to talk about how to compassionately disperse your workforce. This is a very sensitive and emotional time for a lot of people, and a tough time, and it sucks. And so, for me, it happened about 9 days ago. It was last Monday, and we came into the office, and the weekend was full of lockdown, don't go outside, a bunch of bad news, basically. And the realization slowly crept in that the world was going to come to a screeching halt. And that, we're in the business of hiring and getting people jobs and connecting employers with great people. And clients started delaying their hiring. We had 2 people that were supposed to start on that Monday, and the employer said, we can't do it. We've got to put this on pause. And that was, the beginning of the wall, or the impending semi-permanent pause that the world as we know it has been put on. And we went into crisis mode, and, we came up with a game plan that day, and we had a team meeting, and then we got prepared to go work remote permanently. And, there's some energy and some excitement and some worried people, but we got through that day, and we had a plan in place. And I'll tell you, I wasn't excited about that plan. It was the best we could come up with in a short notice, but it was all we had, so we're going to go with it. And then on Tuesday, I had a wide open schedule, and I took a really long walk and was getting some exercise and my little power walk that I do. And I was thinking through all my contingency plans, and I was like, holy shit, I might have to lay everybody off. This might be a reality. And that's not a reality that any business leader wants to have to face. I've never been so sick to my stomach. Man. I know some of my team members are on here, man, and it's emotional. It's the worst feeling ever, because you know what? Spend more time with these people, and they're great, and I freaking love them. And what makes it even worse is they're all A players, and we're building something amazing together, and we've worked together for a long time. And there's an emotional aspect to that. Oh man, I'm sorry, guys. And there's obviously the logical brain that says there's an economic aspect of, if the business can't be healthy, then it can't thrive, and then nobody can survive. And I guess I was going through all of those things, and the emotional part's the hardest part. But most of us who are here or are thinking about having to disperse their workforce, probably feel similarly, and but are also thinking about the economics of this. And the economics are a big deal, because if we can't get that right, then we can't save anybody. and we can't help anybody. So we're going to talk a little bit about all these things, these different aspects. And, a big part of it, if you're like me, you've got a team of amazing people. We want to do everything we can to trust and protect our employer reputation. And, heaven forbid, we're doing everything in our power. But if we had to furlough our people, we want to maintain that relationship with them in a positive way. It's too easy to make it a negative thing. And so, because we'd of course want to get started again, and we'd hope that we could re-engage those folks. And I would hope that if we get to this point, that, every single one of the guys and gals on our team would want to come back and get back after it. And if we have to get there, and if we have to do this, and we have to furlough or lay them off or disperse them, then I'd want to know that we're doing everything possible to get them back to work, or get them financially secure, to get them in a good place so that they can take care of their families and start recovering their lives as quickly as possible. And so outplacement services done right, that's what this is all about, is accomplishing these three things. So we're going to talk more about, the decision that many of us are facing is the decision to lay off our employees. And we've talked about how painful that decision is. And so we've created a new mission for our recruiting and search company, is to compassionately and empathetically help companies disperse their workforces to build trust and respect and appreciation for each other and their organizations. And ultimately, core value that both my companies have shared is to relentlessly help every single person who's affected by this to get back on their feet. And part of that's getting a new job. So that's our mission. And I hope that, means something, because I don't quit. I don't give up. We're going to do this. So I know many of the people on here are thinking, is this a worthwhile investment? Engaging in outplacement firm or outplacement services, and in making that investment, it's actually not very much money. It's less than a day's wages per person in most cases, no more than 2. But there are huge financial costs to doing this the wrong way. That's the bottom line. So there's a ton of litigation exposure, the severance benefits and unemployment insurance, the loyalty, if you ever want to retain your people, and just the corporate social responsibility and how that affects your brand in all ways, as an employer brand, as well as just a brand in the marketplace, are enormous. So let's talk about a few of those. First off, the biggest cost we're all looking at here are the litigation costs. Based on the statistics provided by the Small Business Administration, 1% of all employees might enter into litigation. If you've got 100 employees or 500 employees, you're talking anywhere from 1 to 5 litigated instances. That doesn't even count the mediated instances. And litigation on average costs up to $200,000 in settlement costs and $50,000 in legal costs. So just if you're laying off 25 people, you've got a $62,000 potential legal costs facing you. If you can do anything to prevent that, to compassionately engage your workforce and help them not sit on the couch and dwell about how bitter they are, then you should be doing it, because outplacement services automatically are a fraction of that cost. So this is just one small way. Immediately, unemployment insurance costs go up. A company with 500 employees, they're looking at an increase of $18,000 in just a small fraction of people who don't get back to work in a timely manner. And this is going to be a tough order. And, we can't promise that all these people are going to get back to work tomorrow. But what we can promise is that we're going to work tirelessly and forever to get them back to work. And we're promising that because we're so committed to this cause. Anything you can do to mitigate this in the long term is going to save your business from going out of business. If you survive the next 3, 6, 12 months and don't deal with this reality, you won't make it. And the worst is unexpected turnover. You've cut your workforce down. You've leaned it. You've top graded everybody. You kept the best of the best. But there's a huge emotional cost that causes, even on your A players. And if you lose those folks, in the stats, it's a 31% increase in voluntary turnover. That means if you have a workforce of 300 people and you cut back 100, you're going to lose another 30% of your workforce, most likely. And the cost of rehiring and retraining those people is 1 to 2 times the annual salary. So you're cutting 100 people and you lose another 60 people. You're talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, not just to find these people, but to train and to get these people, other people, back up to speed so that they're producing. The costs are enormous. Those alone will put your business out of business. Just on the low end, if you lay off 100,000 employees, you're exposed to at least $1.5 million in potential liability. And that number could be exponentially worse. And there's a whole bunch more when you talk about brand and corporate responsibility, social responsibility, reputation, that's going to be damaged. So before we get to the point of saying we've got to downsize, there's really 4 things that I really want people to consider. Look, I don't want anybody to downsize. This is not the place I'd want to be sitting 2 weeks ago. I never even thought about this. Never even conceived that we'd be looking at 4 million people who have already lost their jobs and another 11 million people who are facing losing their jobs as well. That's the facts. That's Moody's Analytics. Those are the numbers. And this isn't over. This is going to happen for the next 12 to 24 months. So what can we do to prevent downsizing? Well, if we do downsize, we can at least continue to pay our people's health insurance premiums. This is going to help build some loyalty, some trust. This is a basic human need that everybody needs. And if they don't have to pay anything out of pocket to cover their premiums, and if something happens to them or their family, and then they have minimal out-of-pocket expense, that's a bare minimum basic thing that we can do for people. And so we are thinking about furloughing people and bringing them back on. I can't recommend doing this enough. I have a friend with over 2,500 employees in the hotel hospitality industry who did this, and I just think he's a hero. Temporary partial pay reductions start at the top. I cut my salary to zero. So, everybody else in the top executive team who's making over $100,000 can probably afford to take a significant cut to save the rest of the people who are the ones that drive the business and make money. So something to seriously consider. If you're in a smaller business, maybe offer ownership or equity in the company in exchange for pay. If it gets real bad and it's real tough, and you've got to start asking people to work for free, this is a real viable option. So loaning your workforce to another business is an amazing option. That's what we do in Outplacement. Right now, we're in talks with 7-Eleven and Albertsons and other stores to get our hospitality workers work, whether it be temporary, so that to bridge the gap between not working and going back to work in their hotels, or permanent for those that there won't be room for. Because the fact is when those hotels go back up and running, there's not going to be as many jobs as there were before. So there's still going to be people who need work. And loaning them is a great way to build that trust and to minimize your liability and your unemployment insurance costs increase. I mean, it's a brilliant option. And again, as an outplacement service company, we help with that. It's something you can do on your own as well, but it's a real option. So if you're at the point where you just don't have any other options and you're facing the fact that you've got to do this, and you're wondering how it works, well, here it is. It's a 4-step process. It's pretty easy because as an outplacement firm, we take all the work off your shoulders. The first part's the one with the most work, but we spend as much time strategizing, generally 1 free consultation and a second strategy session is enough, and then supporting you ad hoc and or formally or on an ongoing basis to make sure that you and your executive team have your message, your plan, your goals in alignment, or set in alignment, so that we, as your outsource partner or outplacement partner, can help share your vision and your mission with your people, and that we can do it the way you want it done. So it starts there. You got to have a plan. It includes how you're going to do it, and then also the legal aspect. We partner with, we have relationships with lots of law firms. We can get you connected, or you can obviously get your outside legal or inside legal in with us to help as well. So either way, we got to get the legal and the execution and strategy pieces in alignment, and we'll help you do that in an excellent way. So then there's a series of 3 different one-on-one game plan meetings with your employees. So first is game plan, get them settled. Second is help them get ready to get a job. And the fourth is to get a job. So third is to get a job. So what does that look like? So, starting the strategy session is, what are your timeline? How many people? Do you think you can rehire them? That's completely, if we have this option, then it changes the approach quite a bit. Can you offer this federal FLMA option? Do you have legal covered? If not, we can help you get connected. You've got to get this piece down. It's got to be in sync with this process, and we'll help make sure that it is. Make sure that, we're executing your vision on how you want to do it. We just need everybody's contact information, and aligning that message again is really, really important. What services you want to offer and what's your budget. And there's more questions and back and forth and strategizing to get that down perfectly, and we'll deliver a full strategy for you at the end of this. So for each one of your people, in some shape or form, they need their own personal custom strategy and game plan. So we get to know them. We spend 30 minutes with them, understanding what their unique needs are, helping them understand what their financial obligations, priorities are. So getting them a personalized budget, working them through that, coaching them through the process of figuring out what their financial priorities are and their personal priorities are, and helping them figure out what to do with that. Determining what's best for their family, what's ultimately the most important thing. Do they want to stay at the same school district, or do they want to stay in their home, or they just want to find a new job, or maybe they want to go back to where they came, whatever it is. Maybe it's just food and shelter they need, and helping them get access to emotional support, and being that front line of emotional support might be the very most important thing we're going to do for them right off the bat. Once we can get people through that initial consultation, then we're going to work with them to get grounded. Can they get unemployment money? Yes, we need to help them get that. Some of these people, especially in the front line, are not very highly educated, and they're going to need help navigating this. Can they get tax refunds? We'll get them connected with tax professionals to get those refunds fast. Without getting your tax information in, you can't be eligible for the $1,200 rebate. You got to get this done. Can they defer tax payments if they owe money? Yes. Again, helping advise them and getting them the information they need. Can they refinance their mortgage, or do they need to defer rent or mortgage payments, other debt, credit cards, student loans, cars, other debt payments? Helping them negotiate those things and getting them the strategies that they need is going to be really important. Ultimately, everybody needs healthcare, so making sure that they're getting set up on the open enrollment options that they have. And they may need food and clothing or other shelter or other basic need necessities. We can get them connected to resources in their community near them right away, cut through all the minutia and get there. So we're going to get all these things taken care of right away. You can't start looking for a new job until you've got this basic foundational security in place. So we're going to help make sure that every single one of your people has this. Ultimately, we want them to all get working again, right? They want to go back to work. You want them to go back to work. We all want them to do that. And we're going to guarantee that we get them all back to work. So it starts by resume writing, lining up those letters of recommendation, getting references. We have tools to do that for them automatically, guides, checklists. Aside from one-on-one coaching, we have peer-to-peer Facebook group where they can advise, moderated by our career counselors. We have twice weekly sessions where we're talking about any one of these subjects and coaching them together as a group. And then they're also sharing ideas. And then they also have unlimited access to their career counselors to work through any one of these things. Their LinkedIn profile. We're going to get everybody set up with a personality assessment. This is important, especially if you want to decide, you want to rehire a significant portion of your workforce, and you are a top grading person. You may be able to use this information to help you figure out who your A players are and who your priority players are to get back to work, and maybe who are the lesser priorities. They can use this tool to better understand themselves, better understand what they're most likely to be good at and successful at, and help build that vision and that that goal of getting the right job for them this time around. And we're going to use that to do those same things, whether it's getting them back to work with you or whether it's getting them to work with somebody else. So we all need a clear mission, personal mission and vision statement that relates to our personal self, our family, and our career goals. We're going to help them through that. We have the tools, the guides, and the personal coaching to do that. Same thing with writing an impactful cover letter, guides, tools, sessions, and one-on-ones. We'll even help them if they like with practice interviews, and then we'll do video interviews to help them cut through all the noise and get in front of decision makers, hiring managers faster. And the last phase is helping them strategic job hunting and coaching, helping them headhunt for themselves, network for jobs. The number one source of career opportunities is through your own personal network, and teaching them the techniques to leverage their own personal networks to get those opportunities. We're going to continue to job coach them until they get a job, period, forever. We can get them access for free to skill development online through New Horizons Learning Center and other resources out there. No cost to them or you. All of those are available. And then ultimately, like we talked about, we're going after bulk hiring opportunities. We have connections with staffing companies and large organizations to help them get connected to opportunities right away. So we're going to be out there actively helping them find jobs and creating tons and tons of opportunities for them. So what are the key features? Well, legal support's built into the price because you've got to have that alignment. Those dedicated career counselors are going to have the same career counselor through the entire process. At bare minimum, the first 4 weeks, the first 4 steps that they're going to go through, they're going to have the same person. I can commit to that, guarantee it. We have a team of A players that have been with us for years. They're not going anywhere. And I'm going to lead the 2 weekly coaching meetings, peer-to-peer groups, and giving these advanced tips and making sure that everybody has all the information they need. We got the private Facebook group for peer-to-peer sharing, which is led by our career counselors, and constantly feeding them good ideas and engaging them and keeping the motivation levels up. We're going to do employee satisfaction surveys along the way to make sure that we prove to you that every penny of your investment was worth it, its weight in gold, and had its intended effect. And ultimately, those targeted job opportunities for your workforce, we're going to try to get them all to work as fast as possible. And we're going to go out there and promote your workforce and tell the world how great your workforce is. Just like how I feel about my workforce, you probably feel the same way. I want to make sure that the world hears how great they are, and we're going to be sharing that message with everybody. We have tons of happy customers all over the place. So what we're doing today and engaging us as your outplacement service provider is preparing. We're going to help you prepare for success in the future in this tough time. Get in contact with us here, and we look forward to chatting with you, and we'll spend as much time with you one-on-one, helping you through this. No charge. All we want to do is see your people land softly and get a new job. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us today.